Hey, road. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Batman.
I am the Father.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've got the review stack here for the 2012 Norwegian film Headhunters. It's based on the Jo Nesbø novel.
Right.
And this is, well, it's a really interesting deep dive because this wasn't some small art house thing, was it?
No, not at all.
For a non-English language thriller, it actually got a major multiplex release over here in the UK. I mean, that's huge. That almost never happens with foreign films.
It really doesn't. It was a massive distribution win. And our mission today really is to try and figure out why. What was the formula here?
Yeah, what made this story click?
Exactly. Why did this specific story, successful headhunter, but also an art thief on the side, why did that hit so hard with an international audience?
Right.
So we're going to look at, the whole Nordic crime wave context that kind of paved the way. Then there's the protagonist, Roger Brown, and the psychological stuff driving him. It's fascinating.
Okay.
And maybe most importantly, the structure. Why critics thought it was, better constructed than a lot of standard Hollywood action movies.
But hold on. If it was just riding that Nordic wave, why Headhunters specifically? Why did this one get the big multiplex treatment when, maybe other equally good films didn't? Was it just the Jo Nesbø name?
That's a really good question. And you're right. You can't just look at Headhunters on its own. The market, it had been primed, really, for years.
Prime how?
Well, this whole Nordic crime genre, Nordic noir, it had been steadily building momentum. It actually started way back decades ago with things like the Martin Beck novels in the 60s.
Oh, right, the Swedish detective stuff.
Yeah.
Very bleak.
Exactly, set that sort of bleak procedural tone. Then you had the Wallander books becoming massive globally.
And those books really established that whole aesthetic, didn't they? Cold, kind of grounded, often with that social commentary baked in.
Precisely. And then came the TV explosion. That made the whole look and feel just, ubiquitous. Shows like The Killing.
Oh, yeah, The Killing was huge.
The Bridge, the different Wallander series.
Swedish and the English one, yeah.
Right. They all proved there was this huge appetite for, tense, complex thrillers that weren't American.
But the sources seem to suggest the real, the final key that unlocked the cinema doors, especially for Headhunters, came from Sweden again. But this time, literary royalty.
Ah, you mean Stieg Larsson.
Yeah, exactly. The massive, massive international success of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the books and the films, that was the game changer.
Okay.
It proved, beyond any doubt to global distributors, that audiences would actually pay multiplex prices to see non-English crime films.
So it was like the proof of concept.
Pretty much, yeah. It paved the way commercially for Headhunters to get the wide release it got. Without Dragon Tattoo, Headhunters might well have just stayed on the art house circuit.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so it rode the wave, but like you said, it had to be solid itself to actually work on that scale. So let's dive into the guy at the center of it all, Roger Brown. Askell Hennie plays him.
And outwardly, he projects total success, right? He's one of Norway's top headhunters, seems really polished, charming, works with all the big companies.
Oh, absolutely. He's built this perfect facade. He's got the beautiful wife, Dian. She runs this expensive art gallery.
Right.
They've got the fancy house, the top-of-the-line car. He really looks like that high-flying corporate ideal.
But we know, don't we, that it's all just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
What's the actual reality bubbling underneath? What pushes him into crime?
Well, the simple answer is money, financial strain, that expensive lifestyle. It completely outstrips what he actually earns. So he's forced into being an art thief just to keep up appearances. But what's really clever, and speaks to how tight the script is how his day job feeds his night job.
He weaponizes his headhunting skills.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. He's like a corporate spy almost.
He really is. His job means he has to visit the homes of these wealthy clients, right? To suss them out.
Yeah.
So he uses that access. He finds out about their valuable art, their security systems, when they're likely to be out. Then he works with his partner. The review calls him his gun-crazy partner, Ove, which sounds fun.
Why?
They disable the alarms, and Roger, he's the BNE guy, the finesse. He swaps the originals with fakes while they're away.
It's an incredibly risky game he's playing. And the sources suggest it's not just about the money, is it? There are these other pressures, these psychological things pushing him to take bigger and bigger risks, almost crazy risks.
Yeah, that's really the heart of Roger Brown's character, I think. Yes, there's the financial mess, and yeah, his wife wants a family, which adds pressure, and he's got a mistress who's getting a bit clingy.
Okay, so standard midlife crisis stuff too.
Sort of, but layered on top of that is this really specific, fascinating detail. His deep insecurity about his height, his physical height.
Wait, really? So this guy's flying first class, stealing masterpieces.
Yeah.
Because he's embarrassed about being short.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some next-level vanity driving crime.
It gives his ambition this really specific, almost desperate psychological route, doesn't it? The review mentioned this particularly resonates in that cultural context.
How so?
Well, the idea of the tall, strong, blonde Norseman stereotype, he feels he doesn't measure up, literally. So he's constantly overcompensating.
So the big house, the successful wife, the mistress they're not just status symbols.
They're props. Props in this performance he's putting on to hide what he sees as this fundamental failing. His crimes are almost like performative compensation.
And that desperation, that's what leads him to the breaking point, where
Yeah.
the two lives crash together.
Precisely. The trigger is when his wife introduces him to Clas. Nicholas Coster-Waldau plays him.
Right.
Clas is this top businessman supposedly looking for Roger's headhunting help, but Roger finds out pretty quickly that Clas owns an original Rembrandt in his flat.
Rembrandt. Okay, that's big leagues.
Huge. A piece valuable enough to solve all Roger's money problems in one go.
So Roger just sees pound signs, or crony signs, I guess. He sees the score, not the client. Throws all caution to the wind.
Completely. And in that moment, his whole carefully constructed world just shatters. He decides to steal that painting, and bam, he is totally out of his depth.
Boy.
He stops being the controller, the charming headhunter, and he's suddenly thrown into this desperate fight for survival. He has to find some kind of inner reserve of strength he never knew he had. He goes from hunter to hunted overnight.
And what's great here, apparently, is the contrast between Roger and this guy, Clas. Roger is believable because he's often terrified and messing up.
Oh, Clas is the perfect antagonist for him. He's everything Roger isn't or feels he isn't. He just exudes confidence bordering on arrogance. The review calls him cold and calculating.
He's the embodiment of that strong Norseman ideal
Yeah.
Roger feels inadequate next to.
Exactly. Physically imposing, successful, and terrifyingly competent. And the casting here is really interesting, too.
Right, because it's Nicholas Coster-Waldau, who everyone would recognize from Game of Thrones by then, playing Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, and that familiarity actually worked for the character here, I think.
Yeah.
Coster-Waldau brought that instant aura of, calculated danger. Ruthlessness, almost.
Made the threat feel very real very quickly.
Yeah, it made Clas instantly credible as this formidable opponent, which just highlights how out of his league Roger is.
Okay, so let's talk structure then, because this seems to be where the film really impressed the critics, setting it apart from typical thrillers.
Yeah.
It moves fast.
It really does. The source says it moves at a brisk pace, but it's not just speed for speed's sake. It's efficiency, meaning it avoids all that padding you often get in Hollywood films. The review notes there are no unnecessary subplots or extraneous characters. Everything serves the main story. And it packs a lot of story and tension into just 100 minutes. It's lean.
You can just picture the Hollywood version, can't you? You'd get like a 10-minute flashback to Roger's childhood explaining his height issues.
Exactly, or a montage of him learning lockpicking skills online. This film just trusts you to keep up. It cuts straight to the chase, straight to the consequences. It's that Nordic noir efficiency applied to the pacing. Focused, relentless. It never really lets Roger or you, the audience, catch a breath.
But it's not just grim and intense. The source mentioned something else.
Ah, yes, the black humor. That's crucial.
That's from being just miserable.
Totally. It stops the tension becoming just unbearable. There's this dark, almost absurd comedy woven in, even in the absolute worst moments. Like, there's a scene involving a septic tank.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it lets you kind of smirk even when things are incredibly bleak and life or death. It's that mix of high-stakes thriller and dark absurdity that makes it stick with you.
Okay, and this all loops back to something the reviewer highlighted as a key advantage, especially for non-English films. The cast being mostly unfamiliar to an international audience.
Yes. This is such a critical point for creating genuine tension. When you're watching actors you don't really know, actors without that Hollywood baggage, that established persona.
You lose your safety net.
Precisely. You genuinely have no idea who's going to make it to the end credits.
Whereas if you cast Let's stick with the example, Tom Cruise as Roger Brown.
You know he's surviving. Subconsciously, you know he's the hero. He'll probably win in the end. It just deflates the actual sense of danger.
Right.
But with unfamiliar faces, every threat, every close call feels genuinely perilous. The audience has to confront the possibility that anyone, even the main character, could actually die, because there's no big star contract protecting them in your mind.
And the film helps this by making sure Roger doesn't suddenly become Jason Bourne, right? He stays believable.
Yes, it completely avoids that really common lazy action movie trope. Roger's a liar, he's a thief, he's a headhunter, he is not a trained killer.
Okay.
He's believable because his skills are limited to what makes sense for his character. He doesn't suddenly turn into, what did the review say, a Navy SEAL type that can kill all their well-armed enemies with only a dessert fork.
Huh. Yeah, I remember that line.
His survival depends on him being clever, maybe lucky, and desperate, not on some magical fighting skills appearing out of nowhere. And that grounded approach makes you really root for him.
So that combination then, the tight pacing, the realism, the tension from the unfamiliar cast, that's why the source calls Headhunters a highly entertaining and interesting thriller and recommends it so strongly. It nails that blend of crime and psychological depth.
Absolutely. But this leads us straight into that really provocative final thought the source material raises about the film's future, or rather, its remake.
Ah, yes, the inevitable English language remake.
Inevitable is right. Apparently, Summit Entertainment snapped up the remake rights even before the original Norwegian film got its wide release.
Wow. That's standard Hollywood practice, though, isn't it? Find international success, scrub off the subtitles, cast a big name.
It is. But here's the critical question. If a huge part of the original's tension comes directly from not knowing the cast, from that unfamiliarity, and if the specific cultural context, like Roger's height insecurity driving his whole character arc, is key to its psychological depth, what happens when you translate it?
Well, the Hollywood remake is definitely going to cast a known star. That immediately undermines the who will survive tension.
Right.
And they'll probably smooth out the height thing, maybe make it more generic, like just insecurity or plain old greed.
Exactly. So the question the source leaves us with is, can that remake possibly capture what made the original so good? If the very things that created the tension and the uniqueness are replaced by standard global market demands?
It's a tough one. Does making something accessible globally always mean losing what made it special in the first place? Especially when that special ingredient is, maybe, the fact that it feels unfamiliar and culturally specific.
That's the core dilemma, isn't it? It's definitely something for you, the listener, to think about next time you're watching one of these international thrillers, maybe with faces you don't quite recognize, and feeling that extra bit of suspense. Is that feeling lost in translation?